afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Mental Health Talk with yours truly. I am Christina McIntire. Want to wish every woman and mother a very happy Mother's Day. It doesn't matter whether you birth children or not. If you are a woman and you are actively participating in those little ones' life, you definitely matter as well. So, first, give a shout out to my sponsor, Flawless Tires. You can find them at 1195 Chester Pike. Make sure you go down there and check them out. Also, my website, www.becomeyourc.com. Take a look around there and visit. I talk about the mental, the emotional, the physical, and spiritual aspects of ourselves in order to help unveil our true identity. Follow me on Instagram, Become Your C. Also, YouTube, BYC Become Your C. Facebook is BYC Become Your C or Christina McIntire. So, I wanted to talk about this week, since it is Mother's Day, being a woman and being a mother. A lot of times we have so many different roles, and people sometimes forget to stop, and we don't sometimes don't feel appreciated enough because as a woman we just a lot of times we assume so many different roles and responsibilities. It just is what it is, and taking time to sit down and reflect and appreciate the women that you do have in your life. It's important, right? A lot of women do suffer. I'm gonna throw a couple facts out there. 1 in 10 women suffer each year from depression, and then 1 in 8 women suffer from postpartum depression each year. And postpartum depression is during pregnancy or after. Um, it's prolonged periods of sadness and you get irritable. So if it's anything lasting longer than 2 weeks, definitely go out and get checked, see a doctor, make sure everything is okay. It's okay if you suffer from postpartum depression. A lot of women do suffer from it. You don't have to feel ashamed. The doctors are there to help and support you. Becoming a mother is very overwhelming. I suffered from postpartum depression for about 2 years after I had my son. I didn't go get help because I felt like I was going to get labeled. A lot of people told me I didn't have it. A lot of people look at you different. So I kind of had to deal with it on my own. I don't suggest that because it's a lot of different changes, especially in your body. Once you have children, your hormones change. Everything is out of whack, and you're trying to get your body back to some normalcy. And it's okay to need help. It's okay to feel sad, because it is overwhelming. You're used to being, just a woman, and then once you become the role of being a mother, everything kind of changes a little bit. And so having a support system, having an outlet can definitely help you take on that role a little bit better. It's a lot to come with being a mom. You definitely have to put your children first, and you're so used to being in this role, like a woman role. You do what you want when you want to, but once you have children, they're a priority, right? And so trying to make time for yourself once you do become a parent can be difficult. We have to make sure they get everything they need first, and we always come last. And I just wanted to say that that's definitely admirable, but you also have to take care of yourself first. Because if you neglect self first, there's no way for you to give all you can to your children and to those around you. So self care is definitely important, being a mother and a woman as well. Taking the little time you need is vital for your health, especially your mental health. And it can be something simple as getting up 30 minutes early or every day just to sit, and if you have a porch outside, drinking a cup of coffee, exercise, reading a book, having time away from, the responsibilities. It can get overwhelming. Life is overwhelming in general. When you're a parent, is double that because now you have someone else to look after, and putting them first all the time sometimes mean you put yourself on the back burner, but it doesn't have to. You just got to prioritize. You got to figure out how to fit it in, and it can be done. Sometimes we do too many things, right? We say yes a lot of times when we want to say no. and we feel bad for saying no to people. So we do things, and then later on we beat ourselves up about it. So also setting them boundaries as a woman and a mother can help you live a better life. We sometimes let people overstep their boundaries, and we put ourselves in situations that is messing up our circle. So we must do things in order to create some peace within our own lives, and that might take some time. You have to sit and reflect and figure out what's going on in your life and what you can do to make your life better. Being a parent definitely is it's rewarding. I can say that me having my son probably was the best thing for me. Before I had him, I was doing whatever I wanted to do. I was drinking a little bit heavier than I probably should have. And so when I found out I was pregnant with him, it kind of put all of that to a halt. And so I always say that he kind of saved me from myself in a way he did. Now, don't get me wrong, it is hard being a parent because, especially your children, they are a reflection of you. And sometimes I laugh when my son is misbehaving and some of the things that he do. And then I look at myself, and so I see me and him. And so definitely it's rewarding. I love being a mom, even though it's difficult at times. It's just having this little person there, and we're putting them into society. We're teaching them the things to do, and watching them grow up and becoming who they are meant to be. And that's what I try to do as a mother. I try to make sure that my son can be whoever he want to be, and through my guidance and stuff, and through my teachings, allowing him to grow in that way. And also, being a mother has kind of made me have to change for the better. It forces us to look at ourselves. I think a lot of time as parents, we try to tell our children, you need to do this, you need to do that better, but we don't never take a time to look at ourselves. So us as mothers, we're nurturers, and we want to give and give and give all to our children, and that's great. We're supposed to, but we have to make sure that we are allowing them to grow and become who they are meant to be, and not who we want them to be. And I think a lot of times we mess up on that because we're taught a certain way, and so we want our children to behave that way. And we always got to remember that children are going to be who they are, and they can't be anyone different. And so we must learn our children, and especially if we have multiple children, each child is going to be different, and you got to deal with them accordingly. Being a woman, if you don't have children, you are still important as well, and I honor you on this day as well. Before I had my son, I just had 3 nephews before he came along, and I made sure that I was involved actively in their life, and it was definitely important. They kind of introduced me the role of like kind of nurturing and that whole selfless love thing, having this child being a part of their life and watching them growing up and becoming. My oldest nephew is 19 now, and one is about to graduate high school this year, and it's just so amazing to watch them grow up and seeing them become young men, and now waiting for my son to become where they're at. It's just a beautiful journey to watch. And I never thought that I would have kids either. I was told that I wouldn't be able to. And so when I popped up pregnant, it was kind of a shock, but it's all a great one as well. And having my nephews being firsthand, basically my first love as children, like they were my first children to love. And so definitely I loved being an aunt. I have, 8 nieces and nephews, 2 bonus nieces and stuff like that. And family is definitely important to me. So just because you don't have children, you definitely play an important role as being a woman as well. You matter, your opinions matter, your presence matter. Women, I don't think we know how much power that we have, because we're always taught to be docile and taught to be, quiet and stuff like that. But women can definitely do a lot of different things. If we, bind together, we can create a lot of, beautiful things that come out of this. But a lot of times I think we fight against each other more. We judge each other more than we should. It's no right or wrong way to parent or be a mother or a woman, but I think we have our own judgments, and it kind of we go against each other when we should be building with each other. A lot of times we judge, especially as mothers, I think we judge other mothers as well as of how we parent our children. And there's no right or wrong way to be a mother, right? There's no perfect mom. We come into this role with no handbook, and we're just doing the best as we can. And we do learn things along the way, but we do things that fit us in our household, in our life. And I think we look at other moms and thinking they should do what we're doing, but it doesn't work for them. And I think it creates a lot of chaos and for women trying to point out the bad things that the other mom is doing. But we shouldn't do that. We should be uplifting each other. More women need to, come together and create a circle where women can come and speak about how they feel and stuff, and not be judged. It's hard, especially when I first became a mom. I had people tell me that I didn't know what I was doing. I chose to breastfeed my son. I got judged for that. I got judged for only having one child. I got judged for how I was raising him. And so I think it's important that we don't do that, right? We allow women to raise their children to the best of their abilities. Now, it's okay to offer advice. That's fine. But when you're sitting there and telling a woman, especially a new mother, how to go about raising their child, or telling them, oh, this is wrong, and they'll feel some type of way because after you give birth to a child, it takes a little while for your hormones to come back into some normalcy. And so yes, we cry a lot, we get angry a lot, we'll get sad a lot. And so it's important for new mothers and mothers as well to keep their mental health in check, because it's a lot, right? We cry a lot behind closed doors. It's so many tears that people don't see, because we have to do what we have to do to get things done. And sometimes we feel ashamed. Sometimes we feel we're not good enough as women and as mothers. And it's important to create a circle of sisters, a sisterhood that you can go to and feel vulnerable without people judging you. So let's try to be more loving women, more loving mothers to each other, and not judge so much. But if you see your sister in need, just help her out, right? Sometimes, as mothers and women, we just need someone to listen most of the time. If you see someone with multiple children, and they probably don't want a gift. They probably just want some moments for themselves. So offer maybe to take their children for an hour or two just to give them a break and stuff like that. We have to help each other. It takes a village to raise children, and it definitely does. I come from a big family, and I don't do it all on my own. I have the help of my family and support of them, and so that's just great. Everyone needs that, but not everyone has that. And I think if people were more open to being less judgmental, we can definitely bring together more peace, especially for the women that are suffering. Being a woman in general, I think we have a lot of roles predefined for us and roles that society defines for us. And what I've learned over the last few years is that we have to find a life that works for us and not be unapologetic about it, right? We have to do things that make us happy, and not always the roles that were defined for us, right? Traditionally it was, oh, you have to have children, have to get married, have to live this life accordingly to what it's supposed to be. But it doesn't always work like that. And I think some women get judged for not wanting children. You should never get judged for that. If you know that you don't want children, that's okay, right? You can be actively involved in children's lives and not have to produce them yourself. Children are a lot of work. I have one, and he is a handful. And so when you have multiple children, now it's more work for you to be done. And some women, they love having children, and more power to them. But we shouldn't judge those that don't want them as well, because it's definitely, you're not just worrying about your own life now, you're worrying about someone else's life. And some people just can't handle that, and that is okay. Whatever role you assume, definitely should be appreciated. You know, being a woman or a mother, we're women always, but once we become mothers, you know, that's definitely a special role. And I think just taking that time out, and appreciating each mother. So if you have women in your life today, make sure they know that they're appreciated, and make sure that they know that they matter. I think a lot of us, we don't take the time to show people appreciation enough, and it definitely matters, right? We don't know what people are going through, and the only way to find out is through conversation. And I think a lot of families, you know, we don't know how to communicate as much as we should, and I think it's time to just start opening up and communicating and see where we at, making sure you have that support system, especially when you're feeling down. It sucks to have to suffer in silence when you're going through certain things. I know in the beginning, when I was battling my own mental health issues, it was hard for me to open up to my family about it. I didn't want to get, you know, ostracized. I didn't want to get judged and stuff, so I kept it to myself until no longer I couldn't suffer in silence. I had to let somebody know what was happening to me, and so it's important to have that, you know, that love circle around you, in general. For women, you know, the roles that are defined up for us, we definitely don't have to live up to them. You decide for yourself who you want to be and what you want to do with your life, and go for it. You don't have to live a life, because someone else told you that you have to live it. Don't go to social media trying to, you know, replicate them. Be who you are, and you have to figure out that for yourself. And it's definitely a journey, and you learn that through experiences, right? When we become mothers, we learn, you know, if we want to have more children or not, or if one is enough. If we never choose to become a mother, that's okay. I know plenty of people that didn't take that route to become a mom. I know some women wanted to, but they just couldn't produce, but they were actively involved in children's lives. So there are definitely different, ways that you can have that mothering, nurturing spirit without born children yourself. And so, whatever role you choose for yourself in your life, you love on that role, right? And you appreciate it, and you explore it, and then you, define your reality and your life for yourself. And it takes time. The journey is not easy, but it definitely is worth it. Being a woman to me is a very special thing, right? I get to, become, you know, who I'm meant to be, my place in the world. And I think that's important for us to discover who we are in this world and our purpose. And our purpose is not necessarily always to become a mom. You know, a lot of times we don't, figure out our purpose in so much later in life. But all it takes is just some self reflection, seeing where you're at, seeing where you want your life to be, and then make, movements towards that. I know dealing with mental health, it is not easy, especially, for becoming a mother. I know, before I had my son, I suffered from panic and anxiety, and ironically, it went away when I was pregnant with him. But then after I had him, it started getting worse, and then I suffered from postpartum depression, and then PTSD, and then OCD really got bad after I had him. So it's important to keep your mental health in check. Always check in with yourself. If you're not feeling how you used to feel, or you find yourself more sad, you find yourself angry a lot, it's okay to go talk to somebody. That's what those people are there for. And just because, you know, someone isn't your birth mother, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are important and valuable in your life. I was fortunate to be raised by my great aunts, because, you know, my mom had a little difficulty raising all of our children, and, you know, I don't, you know, regret being raised by my aunt. I appreciate that I had a mother that was willing to let me go to live with my aunt so I could get a better life. And I definitely appreciate that. She is no longer here with me, but I definitely remember the values and all that she instilled in me. And it's important to at least have that support. She saw that my mother needed help, so she lifted some of that burden off of her. And that's why I said it's important to have a circle of supportive people around you, because a lot of times it's definitely being hard when you have multiple children. Unfortunately, my dad got murdered when I was 10 years old, and so my mom couldn't really handle all of us, and so we branched off, and other people stepped in to try to help the best way that they could. And so I was unfortunate. I had a my mom that birthed me. I was up with her until I was 10, and then I lived with my aunt until she passed away when I was 21. And I also been fortunate to have a stepmom. A lot of times you hear stepmom stories, evil stepmom stories, but we were blessed to have a stepmother that was actively involved in our life. She treat us like we are her children, and if you ask her, she has 6 children, and then all of our children are her grandchildren. And so I learned how to appreciate people's roles in my life that they play, and I don't regret nothing. I'm not mad at anyone for how my life turned out, because who knows if my aunt didn't step in, how my life would have turned out. And I definitely appreciate her for that. And may she continue to rest in peace. And if you have women in your life that have passed on, that definitely was an important role in your life, just, send them a shout out to, in heaven, wherever they are at. And be thankful that you had them. And if you didn't have that, it's unfortunate, because a lot of people may not have had the chance or the opportunity to have a mother or a motherly figure in their life. But definitely, I believe that you will be surrounded by women that will uplift you. We don't always necessarily get the life that we want to live, right? Or the people that we want to have in our life. I go through periods of times where I miss having my aunt there, but it's unfortunate. Death is one thing that we cannot escape, and so you appreciate those moments that you did have with these people, and then the people that you have now in your life. Appreciate the people why they are here, because at any moment our lives could be taken from us, and so it's important that we show value to those people in our life, especially those women. We are the birthers, right? We give life to people, and so I think that in itself should be valued more often than not. And so, if you are a man or a woman, definitely today show them women that's in your life that you love them and care about them. And it only takes a simple phone call, text, give them a hug. If you're short on cash, it doesn't really take a lot to make most women happy. Chocolates aren't that expensive. You can go to the dollar store and make a flower bouquet, and it won't cost you but so much. So just make sure that people know that they matter, and, because a lot of us, we're lonely, especially during the holidays. Sometimes, if our parents have passed on, we don't know any other women. Sometimes we spend time by ourselves, and it's important that we know that someone out there still cares about us. Also, I talk. So again, know your limits, know your boundaries as a woman and as a mother. Especially set boundaries with your children and also people as well. If you know that you're overwhelmed with a lot of different things, don't put no more on your plate that you can handle. I know we try to do everything, we want to do everything, because we kind of are taught, like, I was taught to always handle stuff for myself, never ask for help, be independent as possible. But that gets tiring after a while. If you need help, ask. There's nothing wrong with that. We can't do everything ourselves. We're not supposed to do everything ourselves. We weren't designed to be and do everything by ourselves. So definitely reach out if you need help. We have people that supply our groceries. We have people that are doctors and stuff. And so if we have people in our circle, it's okay to ask them for help, and also be a giver as well. I think it's important to be a giver and be a receiver as well. The more that we give, the more that we receive. And don't, I don't think we should give expecting things in return, but I do believe when we give more, we receive, maybe not the same way it was given to us, but we definitely get back everything that we put out. So go about everything with good intentions, right? Everything that you do in life, make sure you're doing it with good intentions. Again, being a mother, I know it can seem difficult at times. I know you feel underappreciated. I know you don't feel valued enough. I know you don't feel worthy sometimes, but you definitely are valued and mm, worthy. I can't talk today, and appreciated. And I appreciate you for your role. I appreciate you for your presence, and then you definitely do have purpose. I know a lot of times our children don't listen to us and they try to fight back and stuff, but I think we have to just allow them to be who they are. Don't let them walk all over you. Now, you do have to set some guidelines and some boundaries with them, but allow them to be who they are because they are a reflection of you, and sometimes they're reflecting back what you're giving. So sometimes we have to check ourselves as mothers and making sure that we are setting those examples for us. And remember, you do not have to be perfect as a mother or a woman as well. We all make mistakes. We are learning. This life that we are on and this journey is a constant. Every day we learn something new and something different, and I think it's important that we don't have to assume that perfection rule. And I think a lot of times we do, as women especially, we have to do everything this way, right way, or no one's going to like us. We want to have all these friends, we want to look a certain way and stuff like that, but appreciate who you are at this moment and knowing that that's enough, right? I don't think we think we're enough sometimes, but us just being here is enough. We matter each and every day. Don't just let one day be a day that you show those people appreciation. It should be every day. People should know that they matter. I don't think a lot of times we give people flowers when we're supposed to, and then we get upset when they are no longer here with us. So make sure you give those people the flowers here while they are here with us. Show everyone love and appreciation. And if you're a mother or a woman, um, make sure that you create the life that you need for yourself. And just because you have children does not necessarily mean that your life stops. You can be the woman that you are and still be a mother as well. And never forget that. I think a lot of times we push ourselves to the side for our children, which is great, but we can't neglect who we are as a woman because we always are a woman first. So setting up your life to make it a reflection of that will definitely help your mental health as well. Taking time out each and every day for yourself. It goes a long way. It will create peace within yourself. That way, the people that are around you will reap the benefits of you taking care of yourself. So remember, if you don't remember anything from what I've said, remember self-care is important and self-care is not selfish. You matter. Your mental health matters. Your physical health matters. Your emotions, your spiritual health matters. Especially on this journey of life, it's not an easy one, but it's definitely worth it. I am definitely excited to be a mother. I'm excited to be an aunt and a friend, and a sister as well. And those roles definitely is important. Yesterday, my youngest brother gave me and my sister's flowers, and it wasn't expected, and it definitely is appreciated because you don't think that you play a part in people's lives, and then when they do something unexpectedly, it definitely shows that you matter and you are important. So that's why I keep urging, go show them people that they matter and that they're important, because just a small gesture can brighten anyone's day. And you don't know what people are going through, and just you being you and you being present in their life can make the difference in the world. And you don't want someone to suffer, right? If it can be something that we can prevent. So let's make sure we're taking care of our mental health, our emotional, our spiritual, and our physical health as well, and just making sure that you are loving on those people that deserve your love. Thank you, everyone that tuned in today. Make sure you tell those people that you love them and that they matter. Make sure you take time to self-reflect and relax today. Make sure that you give yourself the love that you're giving everyone else. Fall in love with yourself so the world can fall in love with you. Happy Mother's Day, everybody.